Our feet are built to interface with the ground. Every surface we walk on, every shift in weight, every change in direction, the feet are supposed to sense all of it and respond in real time. The problem is that flat floors and supportive shoes have been doing a lot of that work for us for a long time. And when the foot stops doing its job, it gradually stops working as well as it should. A foot that isn't functioning well affects the whole body. If it's not doing its job, it changes how the ankle moves, how the knee tracks, how the hip stabilizes, and even how the whole spine organizes above that. You can end up with tension or pain in places that have nothing to do with your feet, like your shoulders or your neck, if you're not holding yourself upright from the ground up. Practicing balancing is all about retraining the foot without micromanaging it. All you need is a line on the ground or a really good imagination. A plank of wood raises the bar a little bit, and bare feet make it all the more challenging for your intrinsic foot muscles. A great place to start is with your forward and backwards balancing walk. The trick here is to separate your shift from your lift. What I mean by this is shift all your weight onto one leg so that you're standing on one axis from the bottom of your foot to the top of your head. This way, you're not trying to shift your weight onto your supporting leg while you're moving the other leg into position. It's a lot easier to keep balance here. It's really hard to improve our pattern for forward walking using forward walking. Those patterns are hardwired into our brain and practiced every day. So if we want to change our forward walking pattern, backwards walking is actually where it's at. Backwards walking re-engages the motor cortex even by just the virtue of not being able to see where we're going. The brain actually has to think about the movement, and it's actually looking at it as a novel motion. This new pattern gets applied to forward walking as well, and forward walking actually improves as a result of practicing backwards walking. So the backwards walking portion of our balance practice is very important. Remember, anything we're doing on a plank of wood in this video can also be done on flat ground. Next, let's look at our side shuffle, moving sideways. We want to shift our weight onto the balls of the feet and allow our heels to lift just slightly off the ground. This part in the forefoot is where our shoes restrict our feet the most, and practicing barefoot, this particular technique really allows our bones to spread out into their natural position. When we're doing this, the intrinsic foot muscles have to work in a way that normal life movement kind of shelters them from. So you want to keep this controlled and keep the steps small and keep your knees just slightly bent whenever you're doing these standing balancing exercises. The next important thing to practice is changing directions. This is where we're actually transitioning between the forward balancing position and the side shuffle position. So with a direction change, we're starting walking forward or backwards, and then we're pivoting on the feet to turn around and face the opposite direction. You can do this slowly and really feel the transition through that side shuffle position, or you can do it very quickly and use a bit of momentum so that you reduce the possibility of instability. You can also do this with a bit of a step instead of a pivot, which might be better if you're doing this kind of a technique on slippery surfaces. If you're not losing your balance from time to time, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. That's why this next drill is really about creating that counterbalance. So we can do this in a forward balancing position where we're practicing leaning ourselves from side to side in order to create this imbalance. You can use your arms to counterbalance, and you can even take one of your legs off of the surface of support in order to use that leg as an alternative counterbalance. We can also do this in the side shuffle position, standing in place and practicing forward and backwards instability. So you can shift backwards and shift forwards and see what your body needs to do in order to counterbalance by bending the knees, flexing the hips, and moving the arms. We also want to be able to lower our center of gravity in these patterns. That means bringing ourselves into a squat or a crouching position. It should be up to you and your limitations how deep that means to you. But if you're comfortable getting all the way down, try and get as low as possible. It's not enough to just go up and down in these positions. You want to be able to move around in that squat or crouching position. That might be all the way down in your squat, or it might be a little bit higher, maybe even just a half squat, depending on what your mobility looks like. But you want to be able to move forward and backwards and do the side shuffle and change directions in that squat position. This is going to challenge your intrinsic foot muscles and your ankles and your calves and your shins and your legs all quite a lot more than the standing balancing. So if you practice this for a little while, expect to feel a bit of a burn. In the forward squat walking position, you're going to have your front foot mostly on the ground and your back heel elevated. When you transition into that squatting side shuffle position, both of your heels are going to be elevated and you're more or less sitting on your heels. As you transition back to the other side in that forward squat walking position again, your front foot is going to be fully in contact with the ground. We also want to get into counterbalancing in that squatting position. So make sure that you're practicing and balancing yourself side to side in that forward balancing squat position and trying to catch your balance in a forward and backwards context in the side shuffle squatting position. Really the same kind of movements and counterbalancing strategies that we're using in standing apply in the squatting positions as well. Squat walking is quite challenging, and if you try and do all these drills together in a row, it's going to burn you out quite quickly. So if you want to spend a little bit more time practicing, you can mix it up a little bit. Like here, I'm going to take a few steps in my balancing walk, and then I'm gonna change directions and switch to my squat walk, and I'm gonna keep alternating between the upright and the squatting versions just so that I'm giving myself a little break from squat walking too much. Again, this is just an example of a combination. You don't have to do the same combination as I'm doing. You can play around with it, explore different combinations of techniques, or just freestyle it. So if you've spent most of your life with your feet crammed into conventional shoes, you probably got some foot, ankle, calf issues that you need to sort out. You don't need to be doing a bunch of micro-mobility exercises in order to restore your intrinsic foot muscles. A few minutes of this done consistently will do more for your foot function than most of these conventional exercises. So pick yourself up a 2x4 or put a piece of tape on the ground and get to it.